Good afternoon, Jaguars, and welcome to this week's live episode of MVTV. I'm Sarah Petropoulos.
And I'm Abby Miller. To start off this episode, we finally talk about the incoming freshman night, Silver Studs, a student musical production coming up, and a look back on the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Let's get started.
On Tuesday, March 19th, the incoming freshmen were invited to Mill Valley to tour the school and learn more about it. The night began with a presentation led by Mr. Waldeck, which introduced students and their families to the school, followed by a quick game of Hey, What Do You Say? Following the assembly, students were released into the commons where members of various clubs, sports, and activities helped introduce them to the incoming freshmen.
I can't wait to see all the amazing incoming freshmen here next year.
Me too, but I'm also really excited to see what the Silver Studs have been doing this year.
Yeah, they're quite entertaining to watch.
Let's check out the Silver Studs and their amazing efforts.
We all know how much hard work our dance team does, but do you know how much hard work our Silver Studs put into dance? Well, some might say dance.
When I was selected to be part of the Silver Studs, I was really just ecstatic. It was really exciting. I felt pretty special.
It was like a gift from God. I felt like I'd been chosen to lead the people.
So practices are basically, we get there and we just start dancing. We listen to the Silver Stars and they kind of do everything for us and just tell us what we need to do.
Practice consists of a lot of memorizing the dances and a lot of movement.
We would have morning practices. We'd be there as early as like 5:50 a.m. and we would just grind out the dance. We'd go hard.
Just intense workouts. A lot of preparation.
After the performance, I felt really good. It was kind of like a fun experience.
After pouring your heart and soul out onto the dance floor, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
It's super exciting. Like you feel great, and everyone is happy with it and clapping. It's just a great feeling.
The hardest thing about being a Silver Stud is probably the jorts. Definitely wearing the short shorts.
Catch these Silver Studs and many more in the spring show on March 30th. This has been Abby Miller reporting for MVTV.
I can't wait to see more of the Silver Studs at the spring show.
Me too, but those aren't the only talented guys here at the Valley.
Noah Smith and James Ball are writing their very own musical for the drama department to perform this year. Lindsay Edwards has the story.
Here at Mill Valley, two seniors have been taking the extra step to do something creative. Let's go to James Ball and Noah Smith to see the musical that they've been creating in their free time.
It was the end of last year, and we were just working on She Loves Me, and it was a huge thespian project. And I was like, wow, I want to do a cool project. Why not make a musical? And I chuckled at it, and I'm like, wait, why not actually make a musical?
Technically, we have been working through the summer on the actual content and plot of the story. However, actual content creation of the script and the songwriting has come in the last section of last semester and the start into this semester. So over the past 2 weeks, I've put in over 35 hours of just writing.
Song concept-wise, it has taken me from the end of last year up till now to come up with at least enough concepts for the musical.
Mr. Foster is dead. And for one reason or another, some people send him down from the afterlife and they say, hey, your wife is super bitter and is super mean. You have to go try to open her heart. But you can't talk to her and you can't use your real name. So kind of the plot surrounds about his troubles of trying to basically set up his wife to become a better person.
I wanted to bring everybody together using a show. Using the music that I make. I want everyone to hear the music and hear the message that Mr. Foster has to give.
Make sure to come out and see all the hard work that they've been putting into this show. This has been Lindsay Edwards reporting for MVTV.
Come see our show!
Thanks, Lindsay.
It's hard work like this that brings the theater department so close, like one big family.
There are also a few more families within the halls of Mill Valley.
Reporter Emily Harris has more on students who have parent-teachers.
Earlier in the school year, reporter Drew Klein told us a little bit about the students whose parents work here at Mill Valley, but there's more where that came from. Here's another look at families.
My mom is Siri Campbell, and she is a Spanish teacher, Spanish 1 and Spanish 2.
My parent is Arlen Baumhoff, and he's the res carp teacher in woodworking.
My mom is Erin Hayes, and she's a counselor.
More often last year, but sometimes during seminar he'll come up and see me.
I see her throughout the day, passing and having her in class.
I think I have the benefit, obviously, of getting to see her every single day for 24 hours a day, where most parents get to kick their kids to the curb for 8 hours and go to school.
Knowing the teachers, and like I've known them since some of them since I was little, like it's definitely helped like me feel comfortable here.
Pros, I get to like get free candy and stuff all the time, and I get to see my mom, so that's good. And then cons, she has to wait on me in the morning.
Cons, that I have to wait for her a lot in the morning, and I'm running late a lot in the morning.
I think the biggest pro for me is just getting to see her more often.
I feel like we would like miss each other a lot.
I feel like I wouldn't see her as much.
I would feel like I just didn't really see him very much.
We have a strong relationship, so I think it would still be that way.
I love having him be a teacher here.
I like it.
Yes.
Yeah, I really do.
Yes, I do.
I do enjoy it. It's been really fun.
It's cool to see all the families here at the Valley. This has been Emily Harris reporting for MVTV.
It's awesome to see all the parents who get to teach their kids here.
Heading into fourth quarter, spring sports are in full swing.
Let's check out this week's sports segment, followed by the weekend weather update.
Good afternoon, Jaguars, and welcome back to this week's sports segment. I'm Rylee Ferguson. To start off, the baseball team played against Veritas High School on Tuesday. The boys had a dominant performance as they won 14-1. They played a doubleheader on Saturday at the 3-2 complex. The first game will start at 12, so good luck to them. With spring sports starting up this week, let's head to Rylee Luke with a spring sports preview.
Here are the upcoming game times for this sports season. The tennis team will face off against St. Thomas Aquinas at home next Wednesday at 8:30. The softball team competes at 3-2 against Blue Valley West at 4:30 next Tuesday. The girls soccer team competes today at home against Olathe West at 6 o'clock. The track team competes today at the Olathe District Activity Center at 3:45. The boys golf team will compete April 1st at Lionsgate. The swim team competes at Mission Trails Middle School at 4 o'clock next Wednesday.
Spring sports are in full swing. Good luck to the athletes participating. This has been Rylee Luke reporting for MVTV.
Thanks, Bree. Good luck to the track and girls soccer teams as they compete in their season openers tonight. That's all for this week's sports segment. I'm Rylee Ferguson. See you next week, Jags.
Good afternoon, Jaguars. This is Audrey Grabmeyer here with your weekend weather update. To start off the weekend on Saturday, there's a high of 63 and a low of 39 with partly sunny skies. On Saturday, there will be a high of 55 and a low of 49 with rain, so be sure to bring a rain jacket or an umbrella if you're going to go watch baseball play at 12 at 3-2. Finally, on Sunday, there's a high of 62 and a low of 46 with rain. Not too bad of a start to this spring weather. That's all for your weekend weather update. Have a great weekend, Jags.
I'm so glad the weather is changing. It finally feels like spring.
I know, not only weather, but there has been some changes at Mill Valley as well.
Reporter Emma Hoekstra gives us a look into the GSA's new addition to the non-discrimination policy.
On April 4th, our GSA helped the board pass a modification to the wording of our non-discrimination policy. Let's learn a bit more about that policy.
So the school district has a non-discrimination policy that applies to students, it applies to employees, it applies to everyone in the district. Basically, there are a group of people within that policy that are specifically identified. You can't discriminate against people on gender or race. So basically, what they did is added 4 words. And they added sexual orientation and gender identity to the groups of people that are specifically identified as groups that can't be discriminated against.
Policy was important because not only would these changes allow for students to feel more comforted and included by the non-discrimination policy, but it would also allow Mill Valley to be a role model in our county, as it would be as USD 232 would be the first district to add this language to their non-discrimination policy.
Well, it actually came about because of students within the Gay Straight Alliance who decided that this was important to them, and that by adding that to the district policy, it would certainly make the district seem like it was more inclusive. So they took it upon themselves to actually inquire about how they could change that policy, and it turns out that you can ask the school board.
It's great to know that the students here at Mill Valley are fighting for what they believe in. Change is coming to the halls. Let's embrace that change. This has been Emma Hoekstra reporting for MVTV.
Thanks, Emma.
As we all know, St. Patrick's Day was last weekend, but do you know how this holiday came about?
Josie Taylor took to the halls to find out if students knew the history of St. Patty's.
Yes, true. There are many symbols for St. Patrick's Day, including leprechauns, the color green, and four-leaf clovers. But where did they come from? Let's head to the halls to see if your peers know the answers.
What is the national symbol for St. Patrick's Day?
The four-leaf clover.
The shamrock.
A four-leaf clover.
The national symbol is the three-leaf shamrock. What is the original color of St. Patty's Day?
Green, orange, orange.
The original color for St. Patty's Day was a light shade of blue.
Where was St. Patrick born?
Ireland.
England.
Ireland.
Despite popular belief, St. Patrick was actually born in Great Britain. What is the chance of finding a four-leaf clover? 1 in a...
Million. Billion.
1 in 10,000.
The odds of finding a four-leaf clover are 1 in 10,000. True or false? Is there such thing as a female leprechaun?
False. True.
True. According to the history of Irish fairies, there is no female leprechaun.
Now that you know more about St. Patrick's Day, you can quiz your friends when you're celebrating next year. This has been Josie Taylor reporting for MVTV.
All I knew was to wear green and watch out for leprechauns.
Me too. Next, my co-anchor gives us a look at the St. Patrick's Day parade in Kansas City last Sunday, followed by this weekend's installment of the senior segment.
A few weeks ago, reporter Tina Talavera gave us a few ideas for a staycation right here in KC. I took her advice and headed on down to Kansas City for the annual St. Patrick's Day parade. Let's check it out. Kansas City's Irish roots date back to the mid-1800s when immigrants helped shape Westport and Independence into the metro we know today. These settlers brought their customs across the Atlantic, as well as music, dance, food, and of course, St. Patrick's Day. The 47th annual parade began at 11 a.m. on Sunday and lasted about 3 hours. The parade began at Linwood Boulevard and traveled 1.3 miles south along Broadway Boulevard to 43rd Street. The parade's theme this year was Shamrocks and Shenanigans, and the Grand Marshal was none other than the Kansas City native and Modern Family star, Eric Stonestreet. Thanks to everyone who helped put on the parade this year. It was a huge success. I'll definitely be back next year. This has been Sarah Petropoulos reporting for MVTV.
Okay, I got it.
Welcome back from spring break, Jags. I'm Bella Line here with your first senior segment of fourth quarter. There are 8 weeks. Or 58 days. Or
1,392 hours.
Or
83,520 minutes.
Or
5,011,200 seconds. Until we graduate.
I got Miss Halpo. I got past teachers.
I would like to thank DeWild because she's our Breakfast Club sponsor and she's the greatest. Love you, DeWild.
I'd like to give a teacher shout out to my mom, best sub in the world.
I want to give a teacher shout out to Mr. Whelan for making me realize what I want to do in college and also making his class my favorite and super fun.
I want to give my teacher shout out to Miss Anderson and Miss Haney for always making my days at Mill Valley better and helping me when I'm struggling in chemistry or English.
Make sure to make this last quarter count. This has been Bella Line reporting for MVTV.
Thanks, Bella.
And that's it for this week's episode. I'm Abby Miller.
And I'm Sarah Petropoulos. Please stay tuned for the office announcements following the credits.